I'd like to call to order the City of Apache Junction Council meeting for February 21st, 2023. In order to ask everyone to please put your phones on silent. The invocation tonight will be led by Councilman Heck, and the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilmember Cross.
If you would bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity and privilege to meet and discuss city business. We ask you for wisdom and clarity as we consider the issues before us. We ask your blessing on our military service men and women who serve our country in all parts of the world. We ask as well for your blessings on our first responders, including our police and fire departments, as well as our EMS personnel. We are exceedingly grateful for their service and ask for you to keep them safe. Thank you again for the privilege we have to serve the residents of this great city. These things we ask in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Mayor Wilson.
Here.
Vice Mayor Schroeder.
Present.
Councilmember Cross.
Here.
Councilmember Heck.
Here.
Councilmember Johnson. Did you get her back? She's on the phone? Okay. Councilmember Nesser.
Present.
Councilmember Soller.
Present.
You have a quorum, Your Honor.
Thank you. Councilman Johnson is not feeling very well tonight, so she's absent. Consent agenda. As a reminder, all items under consent agenda will be approved with one motion. If a council member wishes to remove an item for further discussion, the request will be made prior to approving the consent agenda and will be moved to new business. Do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Soller.
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser.
Yes.
Councilmember Cross.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder.
Yes.
Councilmember Heck.
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Presentation and discussion, or presentations of proclamations. Presentation of a 25-year service award for Lieutenant Parker of the AJ Police Department. Chief Pulley.
Mayor, members of council, it is an absolute honor to come here and present Lieutenant Tom Parker with this 25 years of service. You know, in all my time being here, and his little granddaughter. You know, when I first got here to Apache Junction, Tom welcomed me with open arms, and he guided me on a lot of different things here in the city. And I really took that to heart because anywhere you go in the city of Apache Junction, they know Lieutenant Parker. And that says a lot about how much he cares about this community. And it is hard to find somebody in public service these days that can do this for 25 years. Law enforcement can be a very difficult job. It wears on you mentally, emotionally, physically, and Tom's still smiling after 25 years. He has a great attitude. He is a pleasure to be around, and he truly cares about this department. The other thing I'll mention about Tom is during his 25 years, he's been a big advocate of veterans. He's a veteran himself. He recognizes the importance of service from our veterans and everything they've done for our community, and he's very actively involved in the VFW here locally and anything with our veterans. So I'm proud about that as well. More than anything that I'm proud and I admire Tom about is that he loves his family. And as you can see, his wife and his kids and his grandkids are here to honor and celebrate him and his accomplishment of 25 years. But that is because he reciprocates that love back to them tenfold. He talks about them all the time. And when he makes decisions, he has them in mind. So all those reasons, Tom is very deserving of this recognition tonight. Thank you, Mayor, members of council, and the entire city for this opportunity to recognize Lieutenant Tom Parker.
Well, this is just the beginning, Lieutenant. It's an honor and a very special night. To the family, I hope you'll take a minute after I'm done, going through a few more items, to acknowledge and recognize your family that's here. Many friends that are here as well. It takes a whole group, right? I've known Tom the entire time I've been here. His attitude is infectious. His orientation towards public service is stellar. He wants to do what he can to help support others and has been a big part of our organization for 25 years. In 1998, he started as a police officer and worked until August of 06. In August of 06 to 09, corporal, sergeant from 2009 to 2017, and then now lieutenant, who's a leader and a big support of so many of our efforts in the city. So I want to read this, and then we're going to take a few more pictures there, and Mayor, have you come down as well. This is thanks for years of service. Lieutenant Parker, congratulations on reaching 25 years of service with the city of Apache Junction. And with that comes 40 hours of paid time off, well-deserved. And the years of service monetary award that'll be deposited on March 2nd. And then the 25-year plaque. So this is even golden. I really like this. Presented to Thomas Parker. Thank you for your years of service, 25 years with the city of Apache Junction, 2023. Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. Hold on, hold on.
She's not letting you go. Yep.
She's part of it. She loves her papa.
You don't want to be in the picture? No.
No.
Somebody's got to do that.
Hey,
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom. You're still a rookie, dude.
And Tom, really, get your whole family up here. Get a group photo with everybody.
yeah, one big photo.
Can you share a little bit? Let me give this to your
First of all, I want to say thank you very much for everybody for being here and the support. There's no way I could have done this without my family and friends. Here with me today is all my family except for one of my grandsons that's missing today, but everybody else is here. We have the little one here. This is Payne, our youngest of the grandkids. We have Aubrey and Brooklyn. If you guys want to go ahead and come on up here. Here's our youngest son, Carlos, my wife, Teresa, our daughter, Karina, our other son, Corey, his wife, Carmen, my dad, Blaine, that's over here in the corner as well. So again, if we couldn't do this without all their support, so thank you guys very much. Also in the audience, I would like to have a few people just stand up who I get a lot of support to over 25 years. For those who don't know, I'm 50, so that half of my life has been with the city of Apache Junction. As the chief said, I was a veteran as well, so Frank White and Jan with the VFW here, there's been a lot of support. I have John Barber with the Military Police Regiment Association. He's the president of the Grand Canyon chapter, and he and I served in the military together. He's representing our entire group that we served together with. And I have Gus and Cliff with the International Police Association, and that's a group of a lot of police officers who support each other from around the world. Yep. So again, I could not do this with everybody's support. And then I have to mention some of my longtime friends, who's one of my original mentors when I was a police explorer, Dave Woodard. If you could stand up. He probably knows me the best, and he has all the baggage on me if you guys ever want to know. So his wife, Sharon, and I got Charlie Wise back there as well, our local celebrities, and Mo, and Steve Kryler is one of our retired guys as well. So thank you guys very much for all your support. And most importantly, I want to thank all of the guys over here in the back who are actually working out here and doing the actual job. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. And thank you.
Known Tommy too long.
Again, thank you guys very much. Again, I could not do this without the support. And as for those who want to know, I mean, I still love this community more than anything. You'll see me around as long as possible. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for 25 years, Tom.
Thank you.
And before you leave, I wanted to pass a personal note that came from Councilman Johnson. She says she's sorry she can't be here, but she wishes you the best.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Flip the page here. Regional intergovernment meeting updates from the council. Anyone over here have anything?
No?
Anyone over here? Okay, well, I'll say fortunately or unfortunately, I have several items.
Give him a minute.
I'll wait until everyone
Maybe
leaves.
give them a minute.
This is the chamber I remember.
Yeah. My ex-husband put in. My ex-husband, other than the military, his whole career was in a tough place, Maui, Hawaii. He was born and raised in Hawaii. It was hard to
Okay.
live there. I lived there for years.
All right, some interesting information was passed out this morning from the Phoenix Mesa Gateway Airport. You know, we all had this event in Phoenix, the Super Bowl, and of course you heard that the Sky Harbor Airport had record number of passengers on Monday departing out of the area. Well, what I thought was interesting also is that the Mesa Gateway Airport, they had 174 corporate and private aircraft that landed during the Super Bowl week, and they were all departing on Monday morning as well. So they were quite busy with transit aircraft. They also had a breaking number of passengers that departed on Monday as well. So they kind of kept up with what was going on at Sky Harbor. For the interesting aspect is that there's 5 airlines that use the airport, and they have 55 cities that they service, and to include Canada and Mexico. They are expecting a record-breaking number of passengers this current year, and I should say the past year, and are looking to expand it including next year as well. The airport is expanding and is planning a lot of future growth. And I also attended a groundbreaking for a Sky Bridge expansion buildings that were shown here. They're in the process of these buildings, these 2 buildings, is 109 and 108. Each one of them are over 250,000 square foot buildings, and they're planning on getting a lot of, I'll say, additional light industry into this area. In fact, they're working on one that's going to take up quite a little bit of space in the first building once it's completed. Uh, For what's coming up, Senator Mark Kelly's office is holding a mobile office, oh, there it is, a mobile office hours here in the city facilities from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. They want to discuss issues related to federal activities, federal agencies, and any issues that we would like to be addressed from the general public. So they're coming here to talk to everybody. And I'll basically close myself for here, and when you talk about some of the things coming up or happened, I'll chime in on them as well.
Your Honor.
Yes.
You had mentioned earlier about the traffic because of the Super Bowl. I attended a supervisors, managers meeting for a mayor, and one of the rough estimates between the Waste Management Open and the Super Bowl, now these are just rough numbers, the Glendale Phoenix metropolitan area revenued over $100 million between restaurants and car rentals and things like that. So when you have events like that here in the state of Arizona, it really makes a difference.
Yes.
Your Honor,
Yes.
couple different things. Is now the time to announce about the,
The pony spread.
yeah,
I'll do that when
okay,
Al's doing it, or discussing the current
okay,
activities coming up.
good.
Okay. Al? Oh, no, Bryant.
Thank you, Your Honor. Bryant Powell, City Manager. Speaking of events and kind of going on with what the Vice Mayor is talking about, our version of our big events are happening. We just had a huge one, our 22nd Annual Lost Dutchman Marathon, which was another terrific and huge event for us. It brings people to our community from all over. Here's a couple of photos. We had the mayor starting off all the running events, the vice mayor and his wife running the 8K, and then a tremendous amount of support. I want to say specifically thank you to Apache Junction Public Works, Apache Junction PD, Apache Junction Parks and Recreation, our fire district, Superstition Fire Medical, and the Lost Dutchman Marathon Committee, who is a nonprofit that puts it all together. I had a resident ask me a little bit like, hey, this causes traffic, and I was able to share with them a little data about the impact. And so this ability for so many volunteers and all of our groups working together has brought over, the number's over $700,000 since the beginning, and each year another big chunk, and we never know exactly what that number will be, gets distributed back into our community to those who help support the event. We're really thankful for Liz and her great leadership in helping us keep this going. I'd like to also report, now, was there anything else anybody wanted to say about the marathon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I want to add in the aspect on it. One of the things I'm going to say, being at the starting line and the finish line and noticing all the people that were involved, there was a grand total for all the events, the marathon, the 10K, the 8K, and the half marathon was 2,436 people that were in competition. The youngest runner in all these events was 8 years old, and the oldest runner was 83. And of course, one of the things that they were doing is they were coming back across the finish line. They were talking about somebody who was, well, this person's just 69, he's young. And then 71 and 70s, and the oldest one I had heard was 81 that I had heard come across the finish line. There was, in the complete marathon, the youngest was a 14-year-old, and the oldest marathon runner was a 72-year-old. And for me, I'd say, hey, I know someone participated here in it, but it's something that is wonderful to see all these people involved in what they're doing and how physically fit they are in it. We had over 800 volunteers helping on Sunday, and that made this event happen. And I want to say, definitely agree, thank you to the police, the fire, the emergency services, the Parks and Rec, as well as all the other people that came in and volunteered as well.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wanted to say one thing about it as well. Well, a couple things. One, I think I remember, I was at the starting line, and I tried to give him my number. I said, come on, Chip, this is your last chance, take it. He didn't want to do it. And another thing I thought was pretty cool is Councilman Cross's son ran in the 10K marathon, and he took first for local, because, you know, they know you're from out of state or whatever, but for Apache Junction local,
That's sweet.
Nick Cross took first place.
Pretty cool. Your Honor. Now, it's my understanding the Apache Junction Marathon is a qualifier for the Boston Marathon. Well, you know, that's nice to hear that. But you know what? Go back to the picture. They don't have that view in Boston. You know, we need to plaster that picture right there everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. That's big time. One of our favorites.
So Boston doesn't have anything on us.
I love how beautiful the road is right now, too. Wish we can keep it that way. Okay, so moving on to Lost Dutchman Days Parade and Rodeo. Very excited. We're getting prepared, working hard this week, all hands on deck. This year, we've worked really closely with Public Works and Park Recreation out at the BLM area, the area that we'll look forward to owning an extra parking lot or an extra parking area. So keep a lookout as we leave the parade, especially on Saturday, to get folks where they need to be. Just wanted to highlight that we're working very closely with public safety personnel to make sure everyone is kept safe. Before I leave Lost Dutchman Days, anything? Peter looks like.
Can I jump in on that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, I wanted to, again, highlight that this event it's our signature event.
Yeah.
This is what we're all about in this city. And I've learned that we have, right now, I believe they have 100 vendors now for that event, which I believe is the highest they've ever had. There's a lot of interest, and that's marvelous. I do have some flyers on the table out back, so if you'd like to get an idea, because there's so much happening, if you want to get an idea of all the events and when they'll take place, please grab a flyer, because from Thursday noon till Sunday evening, there's something that you can do. So please plan to fit it into your weekend somewhere. Thanks.
Can I add a little bit on that too? Something that's a little closer to my heart is on Friday is the Tough Enough to Wear Pink Cowboy Day for the rodeo. So wear your pink. It's in support of breast cancer awareness, which obviously we know that's a very nasty disease and it affects a lot of people. So keep that in mind. Thanks.
Your Honor, just a couple items here. The Apache Junction Unified School District has asked me and a couple of other folks from the water area, Apache Junction Water District and Arizona Water, to come and discuss with them water availability. Like you know, most everyone's asking where's the water coming from, how we're able to develop, and to give them a quick update on the growth to the south. That presentation is at their school board meeting, 6 p.m., Tuesday, February 28th, a week from tonight. So just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. And just as an update, I don't know if Al was able to find a photo, but D.R. Horton continues to progress. They're putting walls up like crazy up there. They've got the 3 models going, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago. They're pulling permits for the next section of the model homes, about 25 model homes that'll be going up. So, Your Honor, that concludes my report. Al, you have some other items?
So, Al Bravo, Public Information Officer for the City of Apache Junction, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Just a quick updates, and we'll fill in a couple of gaps because this is our week, as you have all noted, our signature event, and it started with a marathon and then Lost Dutchman Days throughout the weekend. If you go to the city's homepage, apachejunction.az.gov, you will see right on the top of the homepage a link to everything that you can find having to do with Lost Dutchman Days, which, like we said, starts Thursday and continues on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at the rodeo grounds. And then, of course, on Saturday morning is the parade on Apache Trail. You can see all of that stuff and all the details and where to get more information right on the homepage. We should let everyone know that the Chamber, which was selling rodeo tickets for the weekend, has sold out of those tickets. So that means you kind of have to get in line sometime on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday before 1 o'clock when they open up the gates to try to get in and see a little bit of the rodeo action this weekend. Plenty of carnival tickets still to do. You can come and visit with some of us on the weekend as well. Our library folks will be at the city booth on Friday. You can come and take a look at some of the cool things that are going on at the library. Very wonderful place to be. Then on Saturday, as we were talking a little bit about water festival coming, as you may have heard earlier this evening during our water board meeting. In addition to that, this weekend is also the kickoff to our One Water, Our Water conservation campaign between the Apache Junction Water District and Arizona Water. So you will see all about that on Saturday. Folks from AZ Water and AJ Water will be out at Lost Dutchman Days to announce and launch our water conservation campaign, which is very, very important. And I, of course, want to mention Water Festival as well, since folks who may not have been watching during Water Board, that is coming up on March the 2nd. It's a great event where we get to teach our local elementary school students all about water conservation, and everything that goes along with it. It's very, very important. As the mayor mentioned, again, Senator Kelly having mobile office hours. They do this throughout the state at different times in different places. They will be here at City Hall on Thursday from 10 to noon. And I remind everybody that in addition to going to the homepage, you can always get updates through the city directly into your inbox. If you go to apachejunction.az.gov/newsletter and sign up for our newsletter every week, on Thursday, you will see an update from the city. And with that ends my report for February the 21st, 2023.
Want to add?
Cool. One other, I want to add something for coming up event. On March 3rd, we're holding our second annual Pony Express throughout the community of Apache Junction, and we'll be posting the entire route and the start times and end times throughout the Facebook community websites, and it's going to be a bunch of fun. We've got 25 riders this year. We've expanded it, and the horses are going to be riding straight down through downtown, past the marquee, all the way west on Apache Trail, and then do a U-turn and come right back down and head on all the way out to Silly Mountain, and then back across and up to the museum and over to the ghost town and back across along Lost Dutchman. It's going to be a really nice event and kind of great opportunity to see some horses and how they used to do the Pony Express.
Your Honor.
Yes.
I don't know so much to add, but this One Water, Our Water campaign we're about to launch, it's water conservation campaign. Can we look into see if we can get the Youth Advisory Council on this, get them, throw some campaign out there?
Absolutely. Yep, we're on it. Yep.
Yeah, okay, I got a couple things I wanted to add in it. We had the police award, I'll call it banquet, this past Friday, and we had several of our police officers that were recognized for their dedication and their work and how well they are working together and how they're responding to the community. And so I wanted to say a special thank you to all the officers that received their awards and for everyone that put it on. And I'm going to throw in something else in the aspect on it. I see a smile on his face, so he knows what I'm going to say. The week before, we had the Boys and Girls Club had 10 athletes. 9 of them were football athletes that came in, and one of them was a Diamondback, so I don't know where a Diamondback player got involved with a bunch of football players, but anyway, he did. And he was there, and they were all expressing their reading, their love of reading to the kids, and express the books that they have read and how it meant, for them. and it was very well received. And after it was all over with, the kids were going up to get their shirts signed and everything, and police chief and I walked up to say thank you to each one of the athletes and going through them, and he got cornered by a bunch of kids and actually had more kids in line getting his signature than any of the athletes did.
All right.
Which definitely shows, you know, the support for the community for our police. And I thought it was a huge compliment because of this. And then I had the opportunity to attend on Saturday with the library, a cowboy poet, and it lasted for almost 2 hours, and it was very enjoyable, and it was a huge success, and they're talking about bringing it back next year as well. And it was an opportunity to hear some local people and their songs that they've written, as well as poets that they have written. And even I'll say the original rancher that was in just south of us was there, and he's 92 years old, and he expressed his own poetry that he had as well. So it was very enjoyable. Okay, we will move on. Public hearing. Consideration for the application for a Series 10 beer and wine liquor license for a Circle K located at 2360 West Broadway. Jennifer.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before we begin, you may wish to combine the public hearing for both items, the Series 10 for Circle K at 2360 West Broadway and the one located at 85 West Superstition Boulevard, as they are the same application.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay.
Consideration the application for a Series 10 beer and wine liquor license for Circle K located at 85 West Superstition Boulevard.
Thank
Right next
you.
door.
So before council tonight are two new Series 10 liquor license applications for two of the Circle K stores, which currently hold a Series 9 liquor license application. The reason that they are changing is that these liquor licenses are quota licenses. They are limited. You get them through a lottery process. They have to stay within the same county they are issued. They are sellable and transferable, but in this case, the Circle K, both of these wish to transfer the licenses to two different locations here within Pinal County. Therefore, they have to apply for a Series 10, which limits them on the sale, and they will no longer be able to sell the liquor in small bottles. So the applicant is here tonight. If you have any further questions on that, we have gone through our initial review process with our public safety department, the building safety planning, and the fire district. They have all come back with a recommendation for approval. The liquor board is aware that they are changing these licenses, and they will come out and inspect them once they approve it to make sure that they are no longer selling the hard liquor in these store locations.
Okay, the applicant would like to say something? Okay. All right, discussion with council. Any discussion? Okay, yes, you want to say something?
That's just a motion.
Okay, well, that's what I'm going to ask for next.
Open the public
This is a
hearing.
public hearing. Would anyone like to speak on this item? And I don't see anybody running up here. So I'll close the public hearing and ask for a motion.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that the application for a new Series 10 beer, wine, store liquor license for Circle K store number 1556, located at 2360 West Broadway Avenue, be recommended for approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control.
Second,
Moved and seconded. Roll call?
Councilmember Nesser,
yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes,
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
All right, second one?
Your Honor.
Yes.
I move that the applications for a new Series 10 beer, wine, store liquor license for Circle K store number 8746, located at 85 West Superstition Boulevard be recommended for approval to the Arizona Department of Liquor License and Control.
Second.
Moved and seconded, roll call.
Councilmember Soller,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Unanimous, Your Honor.
We don't have any old business, new business. Presentation, discussion on revisions and updates on proposed 2023 City of Apache Junction personnel rules.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Anna McCray, HR Director. I'm delighted to be here with you this evening to go over the 2023 City of Apache Junction personnel rules. Before I begin, I would just like to say a big thank you to the HR staff for this months-long project in which at times I was barricaded in my office going cross-eyed over these changes, as well as Joel Stern. He was a great help from the legal perspective on the revisions and updates you see before you tonight. And definitely members of our leadership team, our department directors who provided the feedback in a short turnaround time. The personnels were last updated in 2016. Amendments or additions to the personnel rules are authorized by City Council. And moving forward, HR will be reviewing these on a biannual basis to make that determination if further revisions are needed at that time. So to start with kind of the purpose and the policy, it incorporates changes in employment laws to protect the legal interests of the city and to support compliance. It's a means of communication and a uniform system of personnel administration to provide each employee the clear and thorough understanding of the rules by which the city strives to operate, the conditions under which employment is accepted or continued. It also provides a framework of consistency and fairness. Provides an understanding for employees under which rights and privileges will serve to optimize their working conditions and result in a safe, positive, professional, enjoyable, and efficient workplace. So this was a comprehensive revision, if you could tell by the beautiful red-lined document you have, but not all sections were amended at this time. Most of the revisions consist of reformatting, grouping like items together, such as the definitions you will find all of the front of this document, as well as providing more clarity in the purpose and nature of policy sections within. So I'm not going to go through every single little change, comma, colons, capitalization, all that, but I will just kind of highlight on some more of the major revisions of the personnel policy, or personnel rules, excuse me. Starting with Rule 3, General Provisions, we expanded on the Equal Employment Opportunity Program that HR oversees, as well as enhanced our ethics and added a professional conduct section. Rule 4, Recruitment and Selection, we provided an element on electronic applications. We delineated the duties between HR and hiring departments, and we provided some clear direction on the hiring of relatives. Rule 6, classifications, increases the salary grades the city manager can reclassify positions within without city council approval. Those were increased because, as you may recall, in 2021 calendar year, we had a market study, so we saw a lot of classified positions move up in salary grades. We thought it was only appropriate to increase what the city manager could classify within those grades. Rule 8, attendance and leaves. We added some flexibility for the city manager to award additional vacation and sick for hiring incentives, namely when 10, 15, 20-year employees come with that experience and are used to accruing a higher level of accruals than our new hires do. This adds a little flexibility of our city manager to do that. We also list in our personnel rules that employees right now, full-time career status employees, get 90 hours of holiday hours per year. We list the holidays which may be observed and paid forward by the city, but this allows a little flexibility that the city manager could, with council notification, provide additional holiday hours for any other federal holidays. We deleted the limitations of sick leave for family use. Historically, employees' accrued sick leave could only be used for 40 hours of family sick leave per year. We eliminated that, so if you're caring for, chronically ill sibling, daughter, parent, they could use their accrued sick leave for that purpose and not just for their own purpose. And we also added the provision of sick leave for part-time employees under Proposition 206, which was passed in 2016. This provides for 1 hour of accrued sick leave per 30 hours worked. So that was incorporated into the language, and that has been in effect already since it took effect in 2017 after that passage. Rule 9 overtime, we took time to define the work period, which is Saturday at 12:01 a.m. to the following Friday at 12 a.m. Clarified meal break requirements, remove vacation leave from hours worked. What that means is that the city was very generous in the past, and if you were on vacation and you just happened to work several days that week, that prompted you over the 40 hours in 1 week worked, you would be eligible for overtime based on that vacation leave. So now vacation leave does not contribute to hours worked, which contributes to overtime calculation. We also mandated the payout of any earned comp time at the employee's base pay rate at the time of promotion or demotion. So that means we are removing a liability, a payroll liability that would be on the books. If somebody transferred to or took a promotional opportunity, at the time they took that comp time, they would get paid at that higher rate. So we are removing that, so it's fair when they earned it, they get paid at that rate. And then Rule 11, the drug-free workplace, we expanded just information on the testing info. We added the provision for urinalysis, blood, and also oral fluids, the swab technique. We added some policy violations. We added a provision in there for self-reporting. If an employee comes forth with a known problem and reports that to HR, we are committed to getting them the help they need. It is their responsibility for rehabilitation, and they can use their benefits that they have through the health benefits that the city provides. Rule 12, discrimination, we updated the definition per law. And then Rule 16, discipline, we added a couple of other violations that were biggies that we thought needed to be in writing. And then we added email as an acceptable form of delivery for any disciplinary notices if that email could be confirmed. So, next steps, this is discussion presentation tonight. At the regular city council on March 7th, we will be back for a public hearing, at which time you will see resolution number 23-02, which adopts the personnel rules, 2023 personnel rules by reference, and then following an ordinance number 1533, which adopts the actual 2023 City of Apache Junction personnel rules. That concludes my presentations. What questions may I answer for you?
Any questions?
Your Honor? Yes, Your Honor. I know. Compensatory time.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure I read it, but that applies only to salaried individuals, yes?
Non-exempt, not salaried.
Not exempt?
Non-exempt individuals. So a salaried and exempt employee gets paid for the job that they perform. A non-exempt employee gets paid by the hour that they perform that job. So non-exempt hourly employees are the ones that earn comp time
And
I
overtime.
thought.
and
I was-
overtime.
That
okay,
would
I
be
guess
at will,
I always
correct?
thought if they work more than 40 hours in a week, they get paid time and a half. It's not comp time, is it?
So right now, the employee has the option. They can select whether to get paid the overtime, or they can bank that comp time for a later use.
Oh, the employee can choose that. The
Correct,
supervisor doesn't say, I'm giving you comp time for this.
correct. Yeah. It's a cap of 160 hours right now that non-exempt employees can earn for comp time.
Got it, okay. One other question. On the selection process for applicants, talks about consumer background reports or checks, I guess. Now it doesn't sound like a criminal background check. Is that not it?
It is actually a criminal
It is.
background check. It is
Okay.
not a credit report
Okay.
check. It is looking
Okay.
for names, aliases, addresses lived at, and any court-type activity on those persons' names and date of birth,
Perfect,
matching
okay.
identity.
Consumer sounded like it was a credit report,
Right.
not a criminal background.
It is not.
All right, very good, thank you.
You bet.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brian.
Your police lieutenants, they are exempt, correct?
Currently, they are exempt.
Okay, and they are now out on the street doing patrol functions as a patrol lieutenant?
So Chief Pooley could probably speak better to that. I know we have been in discussion about potentially, should they be exempt, non-exempt. We've done some comparator organization studies. We have a list of 9 comparable organizations, which we kind of compare ourselves to, whether it's salary, whether it's fees, permit fees, zoning fees, any of that. All of our comparator organizations, except for one, Mesa, the largest, they are all exempt. The larger organizations with the larger structures, Tempe, Chandler, Phoenix, Mesa, they are non-exempt. So we've been in talks with Chief Pooley. I'll let him speak if he has any other comment, but we are talking about how much operationally they are. Is it through and through each day? Is it 20% of the week, whatnot, to kind of determine that test for that exempt eligibility.
Okay, I'd like to work with you guys on that. I think it's an important thing. Thank you.
Yeah,
Chief,
we're
did
looking
you have
at it.
anything to add? Are you good? No, I'm okay.
Anybody else?
I have one.
Go ahead.
All right, I gotta do it. Rule 6, can you bring it up?
You can do it. This mouse is.
Just that presentation one would do just fine.
Oh, the presentation, okay.
Yeah.
Thought you wanted me to exactly.
No, you don't have to get into the, just so people who are watching can remember. Can you give me a hypothetical scenario, some sort of example where this would come into play for it to be on a major revision?
Right. So oftentimes, maybe we haven't hired a position for several years. Let's just take, for instance, a management analyst. Let's say we haven't had a new hire in that position for several years. Again, we have that comparable organization. During those times, anytime a requisition comes through to HR now, we are looking at the job description, we are looking at minimum qualifications, and we are looking at pay. So if a department director is really adamant that, hey, this doesn't look right, or maybe this needs to be looked at because it's been a few years, we turn to our comparable organizations. And let's say a management analyst is at a grade 20 in our salary schedule. And we look at our comparable organizations and we determine, hey, it really should be at a grade 24 given the like job duties, the title, and the pay that our comparable organizations are providing to that employee. Then we go to city management, we have a discussion, department director, city manager's office, and we talk about this is what we're finding, this is where we think it should be, and at that point, the city manager has the ability to reclassify that position from a grade 20 to a grade 24. In the revised personnel rules, we increased the threshold to a grade 40, which is the director level. So anything below the director level, with the revisions to the personnel update, the city manager can reclassify those positions.
So if you're bringing someone in for a position, that position was, say, at, like I said, 26, but it's like, well, that's not what that position goes for any longer. We need to bump that grade up.
That's correct.
And by doing that, that's something you should be able to all handle in-house. You don't need to call a meeting. You don't need to get us all together here. You say, hey, look, it seems, okay.
That's correct.
All right, I almost asked you to explain that to me like I was 10, but it finally started to click.
Okay. We also look during those times at internal equity too. So if there are other people in those positions, we take a look at years of experience and all that to make sure that we're not just looking at the new employees or new potential employees coming into the organization, but we're looking at internal equity for those people in the same positions at that same time.
I'd just like to say thank you for that. That's very important, and people might not understand how important it is to stay competitive. If you're locked in and you can't change things, then we can fall way behind. And this gives the city manager the ability to actually bump things up if he needs to make sure that we're competitive in keeping our employees that we have. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Well, Anna, you've certainly done an exceedingly comprehensive look at the personnel rules.
Right.
Holy cow. So,
Yeah.
thank you. That's,
Thank you.
Your Honor.
I'm sure they needed to be
Yes.
Needs to be
updated.
overhauled, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to add one more thing. You jumped in a new position, you grabbed hold of it, you owned it, so obviously you love the job. I think you can do a lot of great things in that department. Good job, Anna.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
More good things to come.
absolutely.
And there was a lot of red lines
Yes,
in there.
it's a lot
Yeah,
of red lines.
yeah, with Anna, we're going from 40 to 60 to 70, so I'm telling the organization, get ready, and here we go.
Just
Right, Anna?
curiosity, what did that pay matrix go up when you took that job?
Oh, well, can neither confirm nor deny.
Stayed in the class.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you. Council direction to staff. direction to staff regarding the number of members of funding applications for the Health and Human Service Commission. Jennifer?
Thank you, Your Honor. Actually, this is the last item that was scheduled due to the direction of staff last year. This item is brought to you courtesy of Councilmember Tessnesser, and it was just to take a look at the number of members that sit on this commission. The commission originally started out with 7 members, went reduced to 5, back to 7, back to 5. Now we're back at 7. And you also wanted to look at the funding allocation that the Health and Human Services Commission is allotted every year to provide to our nonprofit 501c3s. Just a little bit of history, because we have so many new council members, is way back before my time, this commission actually had about $100,000, but that was because there was a program that we were also using for transportation that was provided through the City of Mesa, one of their programs. And I probably have this wrong. But when they pulled out, that funding went over to the Park and Rec Department because they have our senior services. And one of the key elements of this commission is to provide for our senior services and our disability residents. So currently over in Park and Rec, they handle the meals, the transportation, other senior services in excess of $30,000. They also use the city facilities and then also operations and city staff. So just to paint you a picture, the funding for Health and Human Services is more than the $80,000 that the commission currently appropriates. There's also funding over in Park and Rec.
Okay, Tess?
It's been so long ago since we first brought this up and then said, let's continue it so that we could do it at a more appropriate time. I don't remember all of my train of thought, but, and I can't remember why the discussion of how many people, 5 or 7 that we should have. So whether it should be changed, increased, decreased, I'm not sure how relevant that is. As far as the amount, the 80,000, we haven't increased that amount for forever. And I've often wondered if the way the money's used in our community is 80,000 anywhere near, or, you know, it could be too much, but is it enough that what we should be for the purpose it's used for in our community? Is it time to look at that amount and increase it if necessary? So I just want to see what everybody's opinion is.
Your Honor.
Yes.
So, trying to remember if Daryl and Brian, were you here for the last appointments?
In October, he wasn't here yet, October.
So do we recall, are we always having trouble filling this Health and Human Services, or this one's always getting filled real quick and other people would be interested in how many positions we have to offer?
We had trouble this last time.
We had troubles with Health and Human
We had
Services.
some trouble this last round.
The year prior, the
Was-
council directed us to expand it from 5 to 7.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And then this last cycle came around and we had even more trouble filling all of
And
them.
we have
Not only-
7 now,
Correct.
and we're considering increasing it, or?
Keeping the same or
It's
dropping?
either increase, decrease,
Yeah,
or leave it
I'm
alone.
reading here, organizations should be increased. But, yes, okay, if we're having trouble filling these positions, I don't see why 5 isn't a deal, you know? And as far as, in my opinion, as far as the funding goes, we get the same people every year get this funding. It's the same applicants coming in every year. If we start seeing new applicants come in where the wealth needs to be spread a little bit more, then I can almost see upping that in the budget. But until then, I mean, if it's constantly, not that I'm against this, but Boys and Girls Club, Genesis, you know, things like that. These are the same people year after year that apply, and then year after year they get the money. And I'd like to see new people come in and apply for this. But until we do, I think 80,000 is pretty fair.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Although I do agree about the different people coming in, it'd be nice to see different ones coming in, but the ones that are applying for it are the ones that are actually making a difference. We're in a major inflation increase right now. It'd be nice if we could throw some more money at it, because, you know, the price of food hasn't gone down any, and the price of operating these organizations, the cost has gone quite a bit higher, especially with fuel and everything else. So, just a thought, and will the need for 7 members be there as we expand to the south? Will those positions maybe get filled easier because now we'll have a larger pool of people that are interested in helping the city? Do we want to shut this down to 5 right now, or do we want to wait another year and see what it looks like when, you know, we got a bunch of new residents coming in and maybe a bunch of new volunteers?
I got a question, I don't, it might be for one of you guys, but, so we just appointed Health and Human Services last October, so it wouldn't drop to 5 for 2 years anyways, right?
That's my understanding, Joel.
I don't have the list, but I think some of them might be starting to drop off. And as they drop, if you say, okay, let's go back to 5, then as they drop off, that's how. you
Right,
would
but
be-
the next people in line for reappointment would be 2 years from now, correct? It's every 2 years?
Do you have the list? Do you know?
I don't have
Okay.
the list, but usually every year,
Every year, I think
they
two-
there's 1 or 2 that
Yeah.
rotate off, depending on the number of members on that commission.
Okay, so it'd at least be a
So-
year.
Yeah, they don't all go at the same time.
There's 2 coming.
There's
in
2 that come up.
October of '23,
Right.
2 coming off. Yeah. If I can ask a question, Your Honor. So right now we have 6. There's
Right.
1 vacant position.
Correct.
How long have we been considering? I mean, has that been a
So
while
this-
that it's been vacant?
This last round of appointments is when we went up to a 7-member board. We did not have enough applicants. 1 was appointed even though they did not apply for the commission, and 1 we left vacant because we didn't have any more applicants to fill.
Okay.
So, yeah, talking about applicants, is that something we'd have to, let's say the 1 person or the 2 people that are coming up this year in October, if we decide to bring it to 5 right now, they're just done. And what if those individuals happen to be, you know, the spearheaders of this whole thing? You know, what if they're solid board members that's
I
been
would
there?
agree. One of those individuals I know well, and she's a very, very dedicated person.
So if she would just by default get thrown off, that would be a
Yes.
terrible thing.
Guess you can't pick and choose who you want to take off the commission, so.
Oh, but we can, Peter.
Can you, if you decide to go down to 5, could you just say, well, we're gonna say these 2 people are no longer.
Well, technically, you probably can, but you should have a good reason whenever you decide to take someone off a board or commission.
It's on Robert's.
But if you're, I think this came up, I think Mr. Biggs was the one that started this. And I think it was last year is when he voted on it. Is that correct?
Actually, in 2021, we had the
It's
most
21.
applicants we had had in a very long time for the boards and commissions.
Yeah, we had a lot.
But historically, we have always had a low application turnout for boards and commissions. We just had a record year. That was when Mr. Biggs came on council and decided we're going to appoint everybody and let's up the positions. So we changed PAC, we changed Health and Human Services, and 1 other. And we're having trouble filling.
Your Honor,
Yes.
they can still conduct business whether they're 7 or 5.
Right.
So at this point in time, it seems kind of mute to drop it down to 5. You know, even if we don't fill that 1 position, if somebody were to come to the council and say, hey, you know, I see there's a vacancy, can I get appointed next month?
Nothing prohibits that. However, the council has decided if it drops below the quorum, then you will do it.
Right.
But other than that, if you want to do it, it's permissive. It's your boards and commissions.
But if we drop to 5, the quorum then will drop to 3, right?
If you say now it's 5, then the quorum is 3. That is correct.
I would like to say that, sorry.
No, you're good.
In 2020, all the boards and commissions, if somebody is unable to participate in person, they can call in. So I have actually had a member from Health and Human Services call in because the commute just wouldn't get them here in time. So that option is available.
Yeah, I mean, I did planning and zoning from Flagstaff, so it's very easy.
Anyone else? The only comment I'm going to make on the aspect is on the finances is, since we've taken out the, I'm going to say, senior citizen and moved him into the multi-generation and the Parks and Rec on it, that really is what we've reduced it by 20,000, and we're spending over 30,000 right now. So in a sense, that program, including that, is 110,000 is what we're doing right now, in it, all told. We're actually over 110. So, you know, really in the sense that if you look at what we were doing before and what we're doing now, it has increased, but, you know, and it's true, expenses have gone up, and I think what, you know, if we wanted to increase it, let's look at what we can afford and not necessarily, you know, give a figure, especially we're dealing with our wonderful state legislators and how they want to cut our finances completely out.
Your Honor, if I can weigh in on that as well, I certainly want to make certain that we're doing our best to support those not-for-profit organizations. But I think it is significant that Parks and Rec had to assume that mantle of the transportation and the meals and all that. In terms of the inflation and operating costs, you know, the city collectively we're all experiencing that. I am sure we're going to see the labor costs go up significantly probably as we're having to evaluate our pay scales and make certain that they're in line. Obviously, we want to make certain that we recruit and retain the very best people. So I, much as I said, I'd like to just hand over more. I think we're not in a position to do that. And maybe at the next budget year, if these folks come back with, you know, they have to provide substantial reasons why they should be considered for an increase in the budget allowance for them, then I think that would be worth considering. But I think midstream, I just think we don't have that luxury in view of what we may be looking at down the road.
Your Honor,
Yes?
kind of going along with Councilmember Heck's thoughts. You know, the state's talking about taking away sales tax on food. And that's a substantial amount of revenue that we'll lose for our overall budget.
It's a big chunk.
That's a huge chunk.
15%.
Yeah, so, like he said, maybe we need to hold off a year and see what our lovely state is gonna do to us, or if it's gonna leave things alone.
Anyone else?
So basically, leave it?
Just leave it alone.
Yep.
Yeah, if you leave it,
Yeah.
we keep going and see how things go in October, and then through the budget process, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right, moving on.
I think we get a motion. don't
You
we?
need a motion.
I got one
We
for you,
need for
Chip.
direction.
Yeah, if you
We
could
need a
do,
motion?
Your Honor,
Yes?
I move that the following direction be given to staff to don't change anything on the Health and Human Services Commission.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call.
Councilmember Heck,
Yes.
Councilmember Cross,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Schroeder,
Yes.
Councilmember Nesser,
Yes.
Councilmember Solar,
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes, Your Honor.
Okay. Call to the public. I'd like to remind everyone the call to the public is a courtesy and not required by law. It is a time for the public to express requests, communication, comments, and suggestions. Requests to speak forms must have been completed and handed to the city clerk before the end of the city manager's report. All issues shall be presented in a professional manner without personal attacks. Underneath the open meeting law, the council cannot engage in a discussion on the issues presented, but may respond to criticism and may direct staff to follow up with the speaker directly or place this matter on a future agenda for a council discussion. There's a 3-minute speaker, or 3-minute time limit for each speaker. And Jeremy Jackson?
Thanks, guys. My name is Jeremy Jackson, 1353 South Bel Air Road here in Apache Junction. My whole thought has now changed on what I was going to say. You know, as we're talking about 501c3 nonprofit charitable organizations, me and my wife are one. We feed the homeless. We feed about 200 on a Sunday night. Been doing that since 2019. November of 2019, if my wife is watching. I got the date right. Thank you. Anyway, so November of 2019, we walked right into COVID and still fed. We haven't missed a weekend. Between that and going from just doing it ourselves, going into a nonprofit organization has been different for us. But now we're on our second year of being a 501c3. Our food bill has went up a ton. I mean, we're for 200 people, we're doing pretty good at $24,000 a year. But that has risen over the past year, has risen about $8,000, just to give you an idea. With what we do, we also see about 145 to 130, depending on the year, come off the street with what we do. The food's only a hook to take care of the issue, to take care of the physical issue first, so we can get into their lives in that about 6 to 9 month process and be able to help them get off the street. Me, my wife, and that's my oldest boy, and we've been in my other part of my 6 kids, go out every weekend and do that. So, on the 501c3 part of it, it's a part that's close to my heart, right? So this year, because this is our second year actually having our 501c3, we will probably be actually applying for money. So we will be the new one. So I want to thank you for that, Mr. Bryant Powell. Thank you for helping us with all the city stuff and the zoning commission stuff. And just real quick, because I got time, the gentleman that was here last time, I just want to kind of put it out there for the zoning violations that he was talking about. Just of course close to my heart because we've had to deal with it too. So, guys, thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening to me.
Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew Meek?
Mr. Mayor, Council, Andre Meek, 1327 South Bel Air Road here in AJ. I was disconcerted at the last council meeting when 2 citizens spoke about the nightmare they went through at the hands of code enforcement. I have yet to understand how enforcement is meted out. Who wrote this? What brought on the enforcement action on them when their neighbors, one of them apparently a city employee, were not affected by enforcement? There are some who seem to make it their life's duty to call code enforcement and report any little infraction. In my neighborhood, you could find some violation in 95% of the homes. I think that it would be in the best interest of the citizens of AJ to do a full review of the codes and make them more homeowner friendly. Now, on water shortage, rain harvesting at the household level needs to be advocated by the city. AJ averages 13 inches of rain a year. On my house, that equals 44,000 gallons a year that falls on my roof. I recover and store 8,000 gallons and replenish every time it rains. I use it for irrigation. Many people have the ability to do this for themselves if they have the space. Thank you.
Any comments from the council?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, sir.
It'd be nice to explore that idea of harvesting rainwater.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you.